the St. Martin Golf Association, of which I'm the Vice President, is this year hosting the Eastern Caribbean Golf Association tournament in St. Martin. That's an annual tournament that is normally taking place in the first weekend of October. As I said, this year it's going to be in St. Martin from October the 2nd until the 4th. We start the activities on Friday evening with a big opening reception and flag raising ceremony where all the teams will be introduced and where the Prime Minister, Mr. Marcel Gums, and the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Sams, already confirmed their presence to officially open the event. This event will also be for invited guests and for sponsors of the tournament. Then on Saturday and Sunday the tournament itself will be played. We're starting at 7 o'clock in the morning and the last one will probably be finished at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. On both days there are 112 players that will participate in the tournament. And on Sunday evening we have an awards ceremony and prize giving ceremony at Sky Lounge, where all the prizes for the winners and the teams the countries that won will receive their prizes. And we are very hopeful that the Minister of Education and Sports, Ms. Rita Born-Gums, will attend that event as well. So that's in a nutshell what we are going to do. The Eastern Caribbean Golf Association by itself consists of 11 countries, which are, in alphabetical order, that is Anguilla, Antigua, Barbados, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Montserrat, St. Croix, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Martin and St. Thomas. So those countries will all be present during this tournament, and they can bring a maximum a team of 12 players, which are divided in the ladies category, a men's category for players that are younger than 50 years old. We have a seniors category for players that are between 50 and 60, and the last category is for players above 60 years old. Those are the super seniors. So that's a little bit in short what it's all about. We're looking forward to the general public to come and join and watch some beautiful golf on Saturday and Sunday at the Mullet Bay Golf Course. And then we're going to have a great event.
Now, out of those different areas or countries that participate into the tournament, from there will be a group that will be selected to go and play another tournament somewhere else. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, each country brings their best team with the best players. The St. Martin team, for example, is selected through various tournaments during the last 9 to 12 months. And in those tournaments, the scores of those tournaments were added up, and the best 5 scores of each player determined if he or she made the team for St. Martin. Each country that is participating might have a different way of selecting their team members, but this is how the St. Martin team does it. And so for this year the selection procedure has been done already. For next year tournament it's going to start over again from November.
Each country, how many members of players are going to be in the tournament?
The team may consist of maximum 12 players, but some countries that are a little smaller or bring a smaller delegation, which is Montserrat, because they don't have a golf course anymore after the eruption of the volcano there. So they only bring 4 players, I believe, and Barbados brings also a smaller delegation, that is 6 players, if I'm not mistaken.
And then St. Martin and
St. Martin brings a full team of 12 players, St. Kitts brings a full team, St. Lucia, Martinique and Guadeloupe also bring a full team of 12 players each.
Anyone interested in having a booth, booth registration is open until October 31st. Space are limited. We only will be having 20 booths. For the newcomers, it will be 250 euros plus 100 euro deposit, which you get back after you clean up in 5 days time. You have to build your own booth. And for the old booth holders that was there with us for the last years, we give them a special this year. They will be paying 200 euros and their 100 euro deposit. As I said before, Carnival starts on opening of the Carnival Village will be February 3rd, where will be the opening night. Then on February 8th, we'll be having Miss Carnival 2016. Then on Friday, we'll be having a concert which will be taking you right into Juve. The Saturday the 6th, we'll be having a next concert. Then Sunday, the streets of Marigot will be colorful with the senior parade. And then on Monday evening, we'll be having a concert. Then on Tuesday, we'll be having a Mardi Gras parade. And on Wednesday, we'll be having a concert at the village again. And as I said before, on October 12th, that's when we'll be giving everyone the name of the different shows when the next program comes out. The program that we sent out was just an information program, so folks will get the dates and get in gear for Carnival 2016.
Now, Felipe, I'll let you to explain to me that how is Carnival going at the franchise? Is it going successfully? Is it going to be as big as the downside? How can you tell us about the status of it?
Well, the status of it for sure, as we always say, we are not competing with no one. And we started our homework very early, get folks in gear, and 2016 will be a successful Carnival. That's for sure.
So you were saying that throughout the years, you can see that it's going to a good climate.
It's going to a good climate, which we get to explain some of the different troop leaders that didn't came back last year, and they are coming back next year. We explain them that it's not the way that you think the judging should be done, that's the way it was. We explain them pretty well. It's not because someone win the overall, win the best individual, win the best float, and various other stuff. That the prizes does not go on your overall prizes, and the troops understand that now. So some of them was disappointed the first year that they came out and they didn't win. But like we sit down with them and we went look for them to explain them this is what went down, and explain them good that Carnival is not belongs to the committee. Carnival belongs to the entire public. So if you don't take part and you don't make it be successful, at the end of the day, you the one have to look in the mirror and say, I was a downfall of Carnival 2016. Don't ask what your country could do for you, ask what you could do for your country.
Vitamalt takes care of you. And now, check under the marked caps for a chance to win prizes. More detail on press.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
MP Christoph Emmanuel brought the pictures in to see how the people live in. And we have to understand there's something need to be done with the dump. Now, very important is that during my time as a former minister of Romy, completing the process of the waste to energy plan was a high priority for me. Mr. Chairman, when I left office, we, the steering committee and my cabinet, and I see two representatives there, good advisors who was part of the steering committee, and also Mr. Otmar Yunus, who is part of my cabinet. So the Honorable Minister have very good advisors in his cabinet to see how we can continue with the process of this project. But I have to say, I have some mixed feelings. The reason why I say I have some mixed feelings is because when I hear, and this is especially to the people of St. Martin, we need to find a solution. A solution is already there. When I was minister, as I said, mentioned, I'm amazed to see that we need to find a solution, but I would say just before the end of my term, the concession agreement for the solid waste energy was in the previous council of ministers, so there's a lot of minutes there telling you how far it is. For us now to reinvent the wheel, just take what we have and continue the process. So I don't see where we have to how will I say, come up with different solutions when there's a solution already on the table. We have to understand that government is an ongoing process. Continuity is part of the process of getting things completed. Whoever is minister has to follow the process of where the previous minister has left off, especially if the bidding process went through a transparent, open bid procedure according to the rules and procedures of good governance. Mr. Chairman, I always say here in the House of Parliament that we need to raise the bar, not only in Parliament, but also in government. Reason, we need to stop making decisions in the best interest of politics and start making decisions in the best interest of the people of St. Martin. It's very important that we start doing this, especially if we want to move St. Martin forward. What I would like to say too is that imagine after my term, little has been done for an entire year about the landfill, also referred as a pondfill dump. We need to be more proactive than reactive with the dump issue and bring all stakeholders together again and set a target date to complete this project in the best interest of the people. I'm amazed to stand here today and after a year, which we were never ready to finalize the project, and we're still discussing about the dump. I'm also amazed to see that you have a steering committee which was put in place, which have worked very endless day and night to get us to the stage where a final company have won the bid. And we're here still talking about how we should finalize this whole process.
How is the expansion of the prison going to be financed? It was the intention to finance the expansion of the prison, which would cost approximately 11 million guilders, from the finances that we could access once our capital budget has been approved by not the CFT really, but by the Kingdom Council of Ministers. As you know, we've received an instruction, and as a result of that, we cannot access the capital investment budget. However, it is the opinion of this minister, and that opinion is shared by the Council of Ministers, that these are vital projects for for St. Martin. If the Dutch believe in their perception so much that by the end of the years after the RST has been operating and the integrity camera has been operating, so many people have to be locked up, then it is also an essential project of the strengthening of justice scheme that the prison be expanded to hold all these people that we are supposed to be locking up on integrity issues, right? So that should be a priority as well. What is the status of the changes in the Civil Code regulating the labor contracts? The Council of Advice, I mentioned last that it's by the Council of Advice, but the Council of Advice has rendered their advice on the change to the Civil Code as it pertains to the labor contracts. A report, what we call NADA report, has been drafted, and after this has been properly looked at legally, the NADA report would be sent to Parliament for the further handling of this draft law. On whose order did the Chief of Police, Mr. Baumann, visit St. Martin, and did the ministers in Holland take any action towards him? told you, I believe in the last meeting, that I have no information in particular as to who ordered Mr. Baumann to St. Martin or who even ordered him to make the statements. To tell you the truth, as I've said before, I'm not really interested in Mr. Baumann's personal opinion. I'm interested in whether the Dutch government still abides by the protocol that we signed, and if not, naturally that will have serious consequences. But as you have heard, the results of my visit to the Netherlands has brought a confirmation of the Dutch government abiding by the protocol that we have signed. Is there any progress regarding the dispute regulation? Have the 3 Caribbean countries voiced their disappointment and communicate this to the Dutch government? As far as I know, there's no progress on this dispute regulation as yet. I was told that the Dutch government has its issues with the position that the Dutch Parliament has taken on this matter, and we have no way of knowing what further action has taken place within the Dutch government at this moment in this regard. MP Leonard, let me try to make you a little bit happy, notwithstanding my maybe abrupt intervention the last time when you were speaking. You will see on the table this morning 2 persons. One is Chief of Police, and one is going to become Chief of Police because that decision has already been taken by the Council of Ministers. Let me tell you, by the way, that we have to be careful with who we attack, because there are people who might not look like you and me, but whose heart are in the right place. And Mr. Peter de Witte is one of those persons who have put his career at risk in the Netherlands for defending St. Martin in the 5 years that he has been there. He cannot go back to the Netherlands and think he could make a career. He has therefore chosen to stay with us and help us fight crime in St. Martin. So,
With your indulgence, Minister, Angelini, you have a point of order?
Yes, sir, a correction. I said I had nothing against the gentlemen that are sitting there. I have absolutely nothing.
But that's not a point of order. You'll get a chance to rebut when it's time in the second round.
I just want to be crystal clear.
Proceed, Minister.
but I just want to underline that point because it comes up, and I think we need to be careful and make the necessary distinctions there where they are justified. And Mr. De Witte made a promise when accepting the post that he would train a local officer to take over the position after 5 years. He has kept that promise. Mr. Carl John has been part of that program, a training program, successfully carried out that training program. He open advertisement recruitment campaign took place. A committee was put in place to assess the different candidates and come up with a recommendation for the best. And Mr. Carl John came out on top as the best as far as that is concerned. And as I've said to you already, his appointment, the decision to appoint him as Chief of Police of St. Martin has already been taken by the Council of Ministers. The finalizing has to take place, as we all know, by Landsbesluit, and a number of technicalities in that regard still has to be taken care of. But also the fact that we were confronted with the tragic death of Officer Benjamin was for us a moment to just hold off on this specific aspect until we've been able to manage the situation. So in the very near future, we will have a new Chief of Police, and a word of thanks should also be given to the present Chief of Police, Peter de Witte, for his contribution to St. Martin the last 5 years, and for sticking his neck out for the community of St. Martin.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guilders real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Initiatives of this nature is so important to the development of our tourism product, considering its importance to the economy of St. Martin. So on this note, I would like to say a special thanks to the developers, namely the St. Martin Harbour Group of Companies. The St. Martin Harbour Group of Companies have been playing a pivotal role in the tourism industry in the recent years. With their level of investment, strategic planning, promotion of the island, they have been able to grow cruise arrival to this island from 1.3 million arrivals to 2 million in the space of 6 years. This, ladies and gentlemen, represents an increase of 7,000 additional cruise visitors to our beautiful shores. Now you can imagine the trickle-down effect such development have had on our economy. Another important factor, ladies and gentlemen, that I, as Minister of Tourism, Economy, Economic Affairs, Telecommunication, is cognizant of is that this project will certainly generate a new spirit of life in the downtown area for locals and visitors alike. It is a project that will further stimulate economic development in this unique part of Phillipsburg. I have been briefed that the project will offer visitors, tourists, locals alike, cuisine and entertainment on a daily basis, and also contain the reflection of our national cultural heritage of our beautiful island.
Glad to see the crowd here. This has been a long time, and I'm happy today is the official opening. I'm not going to say too much. I also want to thank the Williams family for being here. I think a lot of what have been said about water plants, I see a lot of resemblance with my grandfather and my own dad, so I can connect to that. But coming back to what the Minister of Culture said, symbols are key. And why are symbols key? In 2010 we started with the jetty, the water jetty behind here, to actually connect the visitors from the port over the whole of Phillipsburg, to have them spread over and to learn. But also during the development of Walter Plant Square, I myself was a bit ashamed in the beginning because I didn't know everyone in Down Street. But I came to find out that actually Down Street is one of the richest areas when it comes to history and when it comes to heritage. And coming back to symbols again, if you look in the back of me, to your, I guess it's to your left, you'll see the port, but to your right, you see Fort Amsterdam. And I don't know if it was meant to be, but right in the center, you're seeing the Walter Plant Square. So basically, this is actually the heartbeat of Phillipsburg. I've also heard about commitment. Looking at all the elements in this project, and I would like to thank the architect, Wouter Schippers, and of course, our contractor, Win Road, John Hendrik, because they also had to deal with me. When we started the project, it actually was architect to be more of a modern art type of project. But basically, somewhere 2 months during the project, we basically wiped off those plans and actually redesigned the whole project, which of course brought a lot of irritation and headaches. But I want to thank those two gentlemen. And for sure, I want to thank the board of directors with having their patience with me, because this was not an easy project. But coming back to the symbols again, symbols are very important. Minister of Culture mentioned the DNA of the history. And let's be honest, everything is about your DNA. And sometimes I wonder if the saying that the history determines your future, well, today is a confirmation that indeed your history is your future. Again, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the Prime Minister as well, the government of St. Martin, for making sure that we follow through also with our commitments and strategic planning. And you know, it's a whole day of festivities, and I just enjoy it. I think it's up to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this evening. And just enjoy it because I think all the elements are there for making sure that this will be a success.